Where is duster? Today we are going to start our market structures topic. It is September 22, 2020, and our topic is market structures. In our previous lesson, what we were talking about, what are the types of revenues when a firm is price taker or price setter. Alright. So we analyze different shapes of revenues, and then we analyze how a firm will be able to decide the profit maximizing level of output. What is that point of profit maximizing level of output? It is the point where marginal revenue should equal to the marginal cost of production. Alright? Marginal revenue means the slope of total revenue should equal to the slope of total cost, which is the marginal cost of production. When these two slopes are equal, then the gap between total revenue and total cost will be maximized. Now today I want to say one thing. What is the difference between industry and a firm? Very simple question it is. Industry means what? When many firms are producing same type of product, they are part of one industry. Like surgical industry, there are more than 100 firms which are producing surgical items under one industry. But a single unit is called a firm which is producing those goods. So in case of market structures, every producer is operating under certain industry. Now how many firms they are present in each industry? If there are, can we say there are many sellers, many firms are producing the similar product. Then we say, if we find there are so many firms which are present in one industry and there are no barriers to enter, anyone can enter that industry very easily without any barrier. Alright? So in that case, what happens? That market structure will be called competition or perfect competition. So competition depends upon the degree of entry of the new firms. How many new firms can enter in that industry? Do we have many barriers to enter or we have no barriers to enter? If there are no barriers to enter in an industry, we say that industry is facing immense competition or there is going to be perfect competition in that industry. Alright? And if we find there are very, very strong barriers to the entry of new firms, no one can enter, either by the government regulation or the barriers created by the present firms in the industry. Then we say that market structure will be called imperfect competition. What is imperfect competition? When we find strong barriers to entry and that is restricting the entry of the new firms, that market structure will be called imperfectly competitive. We have two types of market structures. One is called perfect competition, where we find the degree of competition and there are no barriers to enter. Anyone can enter that market and each firm, or a single producer is insignificantly small part of the total industry, that firm cannot influence the market price of the product. Like I give you an example, how many farmers are producing wheat, rice and tomatoes? So many farmers are there in our country. Alright? So if any new farmer is entering that market, can he agricultural farming sector. There are no barriers. If another farmer or extra farmer is entered, what happens? He cannot influence the market price. He has to sell the product at the going market price. So in case of competition, we find that each single farm is insignificantly smaller, that it cannot affect the market price of the product. It is only the price taker farm. It is not the price setter. Alright? It has no ability to set the price because it is insignificantly smaller in that industry. Alright? Okay. In case of imperfect competition, what is happening? Imperfect competition, we are having barriers to entry. That competition is not allowing the new firms to enter. If any firm wants to enter, it has to cross those barriers. We see nowadays every firm is advertising the product. If new firm is going to enter, what happens? It has to spend huge amount of money on advertising, that it should break the brand loyalty of the consumers. Then it can enter. Otherwise, if very larger firm, the market giants, they are already present, they are not allowing any new firm to enter. So in that case, that competition will be called imperfect when there are barriers to entry. And when there are no barriers to entry, any firm can enter or leave the market. That is called perfect competition. So in case of imperfect competition, we are having other examples like monopoly. A single seller of the product, he is producing a unique product. He has created the barriers himself for the new firms, or there is going to be government regulations which are not allowing the new firms to enter. For example, electricity supply, that is a single one in our country. And due to government regulations, government has created regulated barriers that no one is allowed to produce and sell electricity. It is the sole right of one of the state company. If government is allowing, like you will be thinking that IPPs, independent power projects, they are also producing electricity. Government has allowed them, and they cannot sell by themselves. They produce electricity for the sake of government. Then government itself is selling to the general public. They are not the seller, they are only the producer of electricity. On behalf of the government, they are producing electricity from oil, furnace oil, and then they are selling to the national grid, and later on government will sell us. Alright? So monopoly means when we find a single seller in the market, he does not allow any type of competition. Second type of imperfect competition will be monopolistic competition. What do you mean by monopolistic competition? We find that competition denotes that firms can enter this market. There are no barriers. Any smaller firm can enter to this market. There are no barriers to entry. But once it enters, each firm will be trying to achieve monopoly power. It wants to achieve more and more market share. Okay? When any of the firm is able to achieve 25% of the market share, we say it is said to be a monopolist. So this type of competition where firms are competing to achieve monopoly, that is called monopolistic competition. Although there are no barriers to entry, but they try to achieve more and more market share. So that market structure is called what? Monopolistic competition. It is the mixture of both monopoly and competition. Now another market structure that is called oligopoly. Oligos means a few firms. The large scale firms, they are few in number and they have the strong barriers to the entry of the new firms. If I ask you, how many are the cellular operators in our country? 4 only. Okay? Can they allow any new firm to enter? There are strong barriers. Brand loyalty is also present. Brand proliferation is there. They are covering all areas of the entry of the new firms. Market niches are covered that they do not allow any new firms to enter. There are very strong barriers for the entry. So that market structure where we find a few firms with strong barriers to the entry of new firms, then that market structure will be called what? Oligo. So imperfect competition, that is having many other forms of producer behavior. Now each firm, whether it operates under this competition or in imperfect competition, how this single firm will be able to maximize its profit. That is our topic.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
In monopolistic competition, if each firm is trying to become a monopoly, isn't that what all firms do? All firms are trying.
All firms are trying. All firms are trying to cheat. That's why there is a competition.
No, but in perfect competition also, like when there's a firm, every firm is trying to.
No, they do not try to achieve monopoly.
But they are trying to increase the
No,
competition.
they are only the price takers. Whereas in case of monopolistic competition, each firm is also the price setter. I will explain to you everything, but right now I say another type of imperfect competition can be contestable market. And one of the market structure that is present in labor market, that is called monopsony. Monopsony means what? A single buyer and many sellers. A single buyer and many sellers. It happens in labor market. There is a single employer and many workers are willing to render their services to that employer. If a firm is monopolist in the product market, it will be monopolist in the labor market. A single seller is monopolist. The same firm, when it hires the workers, it becomes a single employer in the labor market. That becomes a monopoly firm in the labor market. Because that is a single employer or single buyer of the workers' services. All these product markets, these are the product market structures. They have their labor market structures as well. Like labor market in perfect competition, labor market in imperfect competition. So the type of imperfect labor market competition will be called monopoly. We will be studying them in our chapter number 8 in the labor market. Alright? That is the introduction about
So what is contestable market?
contestable. But any market can be contestable market when any firm can easily enter into that market. There are no barriers. Like airlines, if a new airline is entering to that market and it is contesting to earn profit, so that market is called contestable. Now we say, what are the characteristics of a firm when it operates under perfect competition? Alright, now one by one, I am starting today from perfect competition. How a perfectly competitive firm will be able to maximize the profit? Main aim of every producer or every firm is to maximize profit. So first of all, we say, what is meant by perfectly competitive firm? Keep it in mind, this is a hypothetical model. Hypothetical model means which does not exist in reality. Alright? Hypothetical model is that which does not exist in reality, but we study it as an ideal form of market structure. If there is going to be idealism, how the ideal market structure will be there. So that is called perfectly competitive market. So what are the characteristics or assumptions? Assumptions of this market. What are those assumptions? There are many buyers and many sellers. There are many buyers and sellers of a product. The similar products. Alright? Can I say the products are homogeneous? What do you mean by homogeneous? Perfectly similar to each other. Like if rice are produced by many farmers, the rice are perfectly similar to each other. The products are homogeneous. Or similar to each other. They are not heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means they are different from each other. Like these four markers, they are produced by different firms. They can be different in size, in quality, in their working. Alright? But the products which are produced by perfectly competitive firms, they are perfectly similar. It means they are perfect substitutes to each other. Alright? That means the products which are produced, they are perfect substitutes. Okay? Now the third assumption, the third characteristic, each firm, everyone is the price taker in the market. What does it mean? The price is set by the market forces of demand and supply. Both consumers and producers, they are the price takers. No one is the price setter in case of perfect competition. The last characteristic of this perfectly competitive firm will be exit entry condition is free. What do we mean by this exit entry condition? Is free. What do we mean by this? There are no barriers. Anyone can enter or leave the market without any barrier. Alright? Any problem to these characteristics or assumptions of perfectly competitive firm? Because I am going to draw the diagram. Can I raise this thing from the left side of the board? I said firm is the price taker. So who is the price setter? Market. So draw this market demand and supply. This is the market demand which is downward sloping, and this is the market supply. Price is set by the market. This is what? The market. Now the total equilibrium quantity of rice or tomatoes, that is in tons of the tomatoes or tons of rice can be produced by the whole market. Do you think a single farm can fulfill that demand? No. A single farm is smaller in size. So what happens? Now this is the price set by the market, and farm is not facing market demand, but it is facing perfectly elastic demand, because it is price taker. It is not price. What do we mean? What are the meanings of perfectly elastic demand? At this price, there is infinite demand of the product faced by the firm. There is infinite demand of the product faced by the firm. although it is insignificantly small, but it can sell as much as it can produce. Its demand is faced by the firm. That is not downward sloping market demand. It is perfectly elastic because products are perfect substitutes. So it can sell as much as it has the ability to produce. I said when price is fixed, a firm is price taker. Carry right. Now this demand curve is equal to average revenue, that's equal to marginal revenue. We did in our revenues lesson, when the firm is price taker, the three curves will be overlapping to each other. What are those? Price equals to average revenue, and that's equal to marginal revenue. So this is a firm which is facing perfectly elastic demand. And market demand and supply, they are downward sloping demand and upward sloping supply. Exit time precondition is free. Please be attentive. Look here. If overall market demand increases, the market price has changed, so the firm is also facing increasing price. This is the operating mechanism. How demand and supply are changing the market price. A single firm cannot influence. Now look here. If new firms are continuously entering, what happens? Market supply will increase. Here it is. When new firms are continuously entering, supply will shift rightward. Market price will decrease. Therefore, firm will also be facing the fall in price. So totally, this is market mechanism, market demand and supply, by which the market price is changing. A firm is only the price taker. When price changes here, it will be changed with the firm. When price falls over here, it will be falling for the firm as well. ये मेरा point है कि how firm is facing. Firm is insignificantly small. It cannot influence, it cannot have any price setting ability because there are so many firms, so many producers are producing the similar type of product. Now see, that is about how firm is facing its demand. Now let me know one thing. What is the profit maximizing level of output of the firm? Anyone? Where its marginal revenue should equal to marginal cost. Now see, I am going to draw a separate diagram. This is demand curve which is equal to average revenue, that's equal to marginal revenue. Alright? Now draw the marginal cost in this diagram. Do you remember the shape of the marginal cost? Yes. This is the marginal cost curve. I intersected it from the 2 points. I said, what is the profit maximizing level of output? Where marginal revenue should equal to marginal cost. There are 2 points. One is here and another is here. See, first point, I say this is point A, this is point E. Before A, marginal cost was higher than marginal revenue. And after A, what happened? If firm produces an extra unit, after this level of output, it produces an extra unit, its marginal revenue is higher than marginal cost. So it is earning marginal profit. What it is earning? Marginal profit. So it keeps on producing, and this whole area is showing that on all these units the firm has earned the marginal profit. When that profit is added up, total profit will be maximized. Okay? So at this point what happens? Again marginal revenue equals to marginal. But if firm produces an extra unit after this point, marginal cost will be higher than marginal revenue. It does not go beyond this quantity. what is the equilibrium condition? Both the points are showing us minor revenue is equal to minor cost.
Between A and E, we have profit.
No. After A is not equilibrium point because after A, marginal cost is lower than minor revenue. But after E, marginal cost will be higher than the marginal revenue. So firm will produce at this level,
At E.
at E, where marginal revenue equals to marginal cost, and after this it produces an extra unit, marginal cost will be higher. It does not go beyond this level. यहाँ पे इसलिए है कि यहाँ एडिशनल यूनिट उसको गेन होगा।
Between A and E.
हाँ जी, वो गेन। But after it is not going to produce. So what is the profit maximizing level of output? If I draw here, you can see demand is equal to average revenue, that's equal to marginal revenue. Alright? This is marginal revenue should equal to marginal cost. Now I draw this marginal cost. Instead of intersecting it from the 2 points, I am intersecting it where it is equilibrium point. Now this is equilibrium point and firm will decide to produce this level of output. Suppose 1 ton of rice it has produced, 1000 kg it has produced. Alright? Now what is the price of this product in the market? That is 200 rupees per kg. What is the total revenue of this firm? Price multiplied by quantity? 200,000 is the total revenue. Now I have to draw the average cost to see the per unit cost of production. So if per unit cost is like this, 150 rupees per kg, that is the average total cost. Average total cost is equal to total cost over quantity. What is total cost? Average total cost into quantity. So what is average cost? 150 into 1000. That is 150,000. What is the profit of the firm? Total revenue minus total cost. What is total revenue? 200,000 minus 150,000. So firm will be able 50,000 as a profit. I can see this area, this rectangle is showing us the profit. What type of profit this firm is earning? Supernormal or abnormal profit. What do you mean by supernormal profit? When total revenue, average revenue is greater than average cost, or total revenue is greater than total cost, firm is earning supernormal profit. What type of profit? Supernormal profit or abnormal profit. Abnormal. Alright? Forward one points or not? Tomorrow I will be extending my topic to show you what is normal profit, what is subnormal profit. This is one type of profit which is earned by the firm during the short run. But in long run, when existing firm is earning supernormal profit, what happens? Many new firms will enter. Alright? So due to the entry of new firms, supply will increase, market supply will increase, price will fall, and then firm will be earning zero profit when total revenue is equal to total cost. That profit is called normal profit. I will let you know tomorrow how to see the normal profit. But the point is that first of all you have to accomplish your lesson till today. You must be revising it at home and then come tomorrow with all the revision of the topic, and I will extend the same lesson to the other types of profit and what happens in the short run So we will be continuing our lesson tomorrow from here where we are ending now. So keep it in mind, if you are regularly revising your lessons, then you will be able to understand them easily. Otherwise, there will be problem for all of the students if they are not revising. So go home with the passion that you will be revising it from any of the book, from your class notes, then you can understand that. Alright, that's all for today. See you inshallah same time tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Allah Hafiz.